This meeting of the Anderson Township Board of Zoning Appeals is hereby called to order. This board was established pursuant to Section 513.13 of the Ohio Revised Code by the Anderson Township trustees to provide administrative relief to any person or entity adversely affected by the Anderson Township zoning resolution. Will the secretary please call roll?
Mr. Nye? Here. Mr. Shekels?
Here.
Mr. Halpin?
Present.
Mr. Sion?
Here.
Mr. Lawrence?
Here. Thank you for coming to this meeting of the Anderson Township Board of Zoning Appeals. Please be aware that this meeting is audio and videotaped and may be carried live on television. First, I'll outline our procedures. A summary of the appeal is presented by the staff. Then the appellant will present its case. The board members may then ask questions of the appellant. After that, all persons supporting the appeal will be permitted to testify, one at a time, after being recognized by the chairman. When those persons supporting the appeal are finished, the opposed to the appeal will then be permitted to testify and/or ask questions of the board after being recognized by the chairman. All persons wishing to testify, whether for or against an appeal, may only do so after being sworn in. When testifying, each person must come forward to the podium after being recognized, speak into the microphone, and state their name, address, and any affiliation to the case. All persons testifying will be limited to 4 minutes unless a board member requests additional time. All testimony is given to the board only. No comments or questions are to be directed to the appellant or anyone else in the audience. The board will only hear new, non-repetitive evidence or questions. Should someone wish to show support of previous testimony, they may do so by following the testimony procedures and stating their support of previous testimony. Now, will all persons who may give testimony this evening please stand, raise your right hand, and swear or affirm? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. Are there any changes to the agenda?
There are no changes to the agenda. Item number 3 was withdrawn, but that is on the agenda.
Okay.
Has to be withdrawn.
Motion to approve agenda.
Second.
Mr. Nye? Aye. Mr. Shekels?
Aye.
Mr. Halpin?
Aye.
Mr. Sion?
Aye.
Mr. Lawrence?
Aye. Please read staff summary for case number 21-24.
Point of order, the minutes. Gotta get to the minutes.
Oh, motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Nye?
Aye.
Mr. Shekels?
Aye.
Mr. Halpin?
Aye.
Mr. Sion?
Aye.
Mr. Lawrence?
Aye. Now, please read the.
Okay, Logan is going to do this.
I'm doing this one.
This presentation.
So starting off, we got case 21, the applicant Rob Cafaro, on behalf of 7321 Clough Pike LLC, the property owner. The request is a accessory structure that is 50 by 100 feet located in the front yard and larger than the existing primary structure, where accessory structures are required to be in the rear yard and being defined as a subordinate building per Article 5.2A7 and Article 6.1 of the Anderson Township zoning resolution. So the applicant is proposing the construction of a detached garage that is, like I said before, 50 by 100 and is 22 feet 4 inches in height in the front yard area of the property. The applicant has stated that this structure will be 5,000 square feet, making it bigger than the existing primary structure. The applicant is also adding a 60 by 30 foot paved area on the southern side of the structure for parking purposes. The applicant has also stated that they have plans to build a new residence that will be at least 5,100 square feet, which will be constructed after the accessory structure is completed. According to the proposed plan, when the new residence and accessory structure would both be built, the accessory structure would still be located in the front yard of the property. So just a little bit of history. On January of 2006, Anderson Township approved for a new single-family residence, which was 2-story, a covered patio and terrace, both on the side yard, with a 36 by 36 barn for a private stable in the rear yard. In February, Anderson Township approved for a 4-foot galvanized fence located in the front, side, and rear yard areas. In April, Anderson Township approved a 36 by 48 detached barn for keeping of horses located in the rear yard. In November of 2009, Anderson Township approved a 16 by 32 in-ground pool in the front yard with 2 conditions. The pool was not constructed, and then the property was transferred to an LLC, 7321 Clough Pike LLC, in May of 2021 by the previously registered owner, Robert Cafaro. So this is just a little map showing you where the property is located. It is in the corner of Clough and 5 Mile. Here's just an aerial view. You can see it's surrounded by vegetation around Clough, 5 Mile, and the surrounding properties. And then here's just a general idea of the topography. It's a little bit more hilly towards the eastern side. You do have a creek on the west side and also on the north side of the property. And then here's just some pictures. Here's a view from Clough Pike. And then here is where the structure is going to be located. You can see how it's fairly flat, fairly open. Just some more pictures showing you a general idea. Here's the entrance of the private drive, showing you the surrounding areas. And then here is the existing survey that the applicant has provided in the application, landscape plan, the proposal of the structure that is being the accessory structure. So you got the left elevation, back elevation, walls, and then here's just a 3D model of what the accessory structure would look like. And so through this, the findings, staff is of the opinion that the requested variance is substantial. The accessory structure is in the front yard and is significantly larger than the existing principal structure, approximately 700 square feet larger. And though the principal structure on the property is proposed to be torn down and may be rebuilt to exceed the size of the proposed accessory structure, the location of this will remain in the front yard regardless, which is a significant deviation through the zoning resolution. Staff has not received or approved any plans for the new proposed primary structure, but has received a preliminary timeline for the start of construction between the summer or fall of 2026. For the central character, staff is of the opinion that it may be altered. While it is well screened by vegetation, and the applicant has proposed additional evergreen landscaping along the structure, there are portions of buffering which are seasonal and may be less effective during fall and winter months. So as a result, the structure would be more visible from Clough Pike and the neighboring properties during these periods. The structure may appear visually inconsistent with surrounding homes, and then the accessory structure would be larger than the nearby homes, including the existing house on the property, further altering the character of the area. However, it is noted that the accessory structure does meet the site setback requirements for principal structures within the B zoning district, which may help mitigate immediate proximity to the adjacent properties. The variance would not alter government services. Staff finds that the property owner situation may be feasibly addressed without a variance, while the current proposed location is flat and open. The southern portion does provide space to allow the structure farther from the adjacent properties and also be less visible from the right-of-way. Although it is noted topography and the presence of the floodplain and creek are challenges in relocating this structure, these constraints don't preclude other locations on the property. The applicant has also stated intentions for the demolition of the primary residence with a new one, and this is going to be reconfigured with the construction of the new home. It is possible to construct the residence and accessory structure simultaneously, or do the residence before the accessory structure. Additionally, the site is going to be reconfigured with the improvements proposed. There is a potential location on the site behind the proposed location for the new residence, where the already existing where the accessory structure could be located in a compliant location. For the spirit intent, it would not be observed by granting the variance. While the proposed location is topographically suitable and the structure meets setback requirements, the zoning code is intended for accessory structures to remain subordinate and located in the rear yard. And then staff recommends a mix of evergreen trees or large shrubs should be planted along the western and northern property lines to help screen the structure from nearby homes and Clough Pike. 2, the structure should use exterior materials and colors to better match the existing residential homes in that area. And then 3, the accessory structure shall not be used for any retail or commercial purposes and must remain residential accessory use only. And here are the standards to be considered.
Any questions from the board? Paul? No. Oh, okay. You look like I thought you were going to say something. Would the appellant or the appellant's representative please come to the podium, speak into the microphone, state your name, address, any affiliation, and present your...
Hello, everybody. Thank you for allowing us to present tonight. My name is Jeff Rosa. I work with Mr. Cafaro. He's a realtor. Also, we are friends. And I helped him buy this property back in 2020 when it was purchased. I live currently at 6284 Turpin Hills Drive in Anderson. Is there anything else you need from me? Okay. So to address a couple of things that have been said. One, Rob's intention on this property has always been to build his final resting place until he gets through a couple of projects that he's been working on around Anderson Township. That won't happen. But as of now, this project is popping up because we see an opportunity for him to be able to get out of his current situation in his current home, get the stuff out of there, get it moved into a structure that can handle it all. Right now, he lives in an Eagles Watch and gets a lot of issues with that because he has a lot of things. So he's trying to put them in one location so that he doesn't have to worry about dealing with that and inconvenience any neighbors or any situation where he currently lives. So the reason why we're looking to build this structure first is that there are renters in the house now. So he wasn't going to let the property just sit there and go to waste while he was trying to work through other things. So we have a rental situation, and they're able to extend that, and I believe it's till June of next year. So we were hoping to get started on the project by starting with the garage first. That's the reason why that's coming first, not the house. And that way he would allow him to empty out his current home and the stuff in his home and his garage into this property, sell that property to be able to fund the new home that he would be building. Currently, he lives in a home that has about 7,000 square feet, and feel very strongly it would have no problem selling if it goes to market. As far as location on the property, this particular location was chosen because we met with Dutch Builders, who right now is the front runner for doing the construction on the pole barn. So the pole barn is, this is going to be basically a post frame type build with a concrete pad inside the build for parking purposes and storing purposes and so on and so forth. We've met with them several times on the property over the past few years, and their recommendation was to put it up on the solid ground that this is. This is compacted area. The previous owners used it for training horses, so this area couldn't be any more perfect for this particular project. The rest of the property topography is, believe me, we looked to see if there was any way we can do this in the back end of the property, and not without substantial changes to the topography. We'd have to do a lot of backfill. We may even have to put in retaining walls, put in a foundation to support the structure, things like that. So from an economic standpoint, it's more feasible to do it in this particular location. The other thing that we had an option to do was the zoning on the property is B zoning. We opted not to try to subdivide the property, create a lot there, put in a barn dominium, which would have a house and so on and so forth. We decided we wanted to try to keep the integrity of the agricultural presence of the property. So that's why we did not choose the direction of just trying to stay within the current zoning, splitting the property up, and going that way. So I don't know if I could ask what area of the property was being proposed by, by zoning to put this particular structure, because believe me, we looked, and we could not find a good area that would accommodate without doing some major fill. We did meet with Olivia Maltry at the Hamilton County. She's in charge of the floodplain, and preferably, in her eyes, putting it there would be ideal, because we would not be impacting any situation with the creek that's down below, and any of the topography, wouldn't have to worry about any fill in those areas. As far as the landscaping, that's a preliminary plan. I can tell you, based on my conversations with Mr. Cafaro, we will over-landscape the trees that are there to help privatize this. He does not want this to be an eyesore, and he actually prefers more privacy than not. So if it requires doubling the number of trees that were proposed, that would not be an issue at all for him to be able to do. All right, trying to see what, yeah, so as far as, if you looked at the plan, we submitted an area where he would be building the future home and leveling the existing home. That will be very close to the garage, so the 30 by 60 pad would eventually connect to about another 20 by whatever pad required to create a connection to the house, create a courtyard there for parking, access where he can just walk out of his house, walk across to his garage, and do what he needs to do in there, whether it, whatever it is that he's working on. We did propose a bathroom for this because when you're working in a garage like that, sometimes that is necessary. But we would probably also put a shower in, just so when you're cutting the lawn and so on, because it is a rather large property and requires some maintenance. And he would be storing all of his maintenance equipment inside this particular garage. Is there any questions?
Yeah, I want to think for a minute, though.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll start and then I'll think. Okay, that's usually the way I work. Okay. Couple of observations. The way this is going to be sequenced is you're going to build this accessory structure, complete it, then you're going to tear down the existing residence, and then you're going to build a new house on the residence on the property?
Likely what would happen, and I don't want to speak for Rob, but he can correct me if I'm looking at the timeline. The accessory structure will be built, then that would allow him to get all of the stuff moved over into the accessory structure from his current house. We would be selling his current house, which would be the proceeds needed to build a new house. And while the renters are staying in the house, because they said they'd still stay during construction, we would be building the structure and then, of course, leveling the house upon completion of his new structure. Now, we certainly can level the structure, then build if that's what's required, but that would be the timeline.
Because that was in, but we have no guarantee that will, other than the structure, there's no guarantee that any of the other will happen.
Well, it's the intent. Yes.
But there is no guarantee in any of the documents that it's going to happen. Now, and I don't mean that in a nasty way, I'm just trying to
Sure, no, I understand.
wrap my head around it, okay? Is there a reason why you couldn't flip the accessory structure in the residence on the property? When I drove out to it and looked through it, that was a large plane down there, in that area that could be used. Was the intent to put the house just past the accessory structure?
Correct.
Well, then why couldn't you flip those two?
Yeah, there's a driveway access there and a gate that currently comes in right there where the road turns.
Mm-hmm.
And the size home and the style of home that he would be building will not fit in that spot. It's too thin. And it would not allow for that turn to work. Because if he's putting, a 5, 6, possibly even a 7,000 square foot home, which is what he's been talking to builders about, it won't fit on that spot.
Right.
It'll fit further down, as you can see. I don't know if you can bring the picture up, Paul,
No.
of where we're looking at, where I've got it laid out in blue. So you can kind of see we're actually going across that existing road at one point. So in order to build that, we're calling it the grassy knoll because it's kind of a flat area across the road. And that would allow him to do, he's doing more of an L-shaped house. So it would go from, so the structure that he's building would be here, the house would be here, and go there and down, if that makes sense.
I understand what you're doing.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Let's see. One other thing, I did take a look at the website for the company, and it has a maintenance operation. I assume that's like grass cutting and all that, and then I looked at the equipment list. Is this going to be used for any of the equipment that is involved in the business?
They'll be used for the equipment involved in maintaining his property here.
Just the personal residence, none other equipment for other properties that he maintains at other sites?
That I don't know.
You haven't sworn in. You haven't sworn in.
Yeah.
You can swear in, and then we could, yeah.
Yep, come on up.
You didn't swear in, did you? I didn't think.
He didn't swear in.
Yeah.
Is it okay to
So,
swear in?
yeah, swear in.
Stand up,
We can
raise your
swear
right
in,
hand.
yeah.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please step forward to the podium, sir.
Step up to the podium.
Just a matter of formality, yeah.
Yeah, so as I move into
Sir,
this,
Can you state your name and address?
Rob Cafaro, 8002 Meadow Creek.
Thank you.
So as the completion of this property gets completed, I am looking at retirement.
Okay.
I will not be doing any further work.
Okay.
And a big part of this as well is I have a home in Michigan that I hope to spend a lot of my summers, but that's also next year as the house is getting built. That's where I will be. Once my current home here sells, I will live up there technically until this gets completed. Just trying to free up cash flow doing it this way.
I understand that. I just wanted to make sure that there was no intent to use
Not
this
at
as a
all.
maintenance shed
No.
for another
No,
business. Okay.
January 2027, I hope to not be working any longer. So that's just so you know.
Thank you.
Okay.
You said I've forgotten her name, at the county, the floodplain,
Olivia Moultrie.
Moultrie?
Moultrie,
Okay,
yes. She's the new
okay.
floodplain administrator.
There's a soccer player that has a very similar name, that's what I was thinking. Okay. Do they have any concerns about the design of the house that appears to go down into the floodplain?
Mm-mm. Because that'll be done by foundation. So once we do the foundation, obviously the foundation will elevate the house into any area that could potentially be a problem. We would try and, it's hard to do a foundation on a pole barn.
Okay. Good.
I saw the equipment list of things that would be parked in there. There's a 20-something foot boat and a 30-something foot RV.
RV,
It's a tight turn on that private drive to get back there. Can you get something that long back there?
Sure, yeah. I mean, they built the house back there, so they got all kinds of equipment and stuff back there with trusses and so on and so forth. That was certainly longer than 30 feet.
I don't have anything else.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll now take testimony from those who, or would anyone like to step to the podium and speak for? Support? Hearing none. Is there anyone that would like to oppose? Just come to this podium, state your name and address.
Hi there. My name's Stephen Walkup. I'm sorry, no, you're going my name's Stephen Walkup. It's 7349 Clough Pike, so one of the neighbors. And basically, our interests, we're neighbors and we share a driveway with this property. And our primary interest is that it sounds like there's going to be a lot of construction, potentially two big properties and demolishing one big property, and we just want to make sure that the driveway is going to take a damage from that, and we want to make sure that that is repaired after construction.
Any other concerns?
Well, kind of to piggyback off it was, it's a one lane, it's just a driveway. It's not a 2-lane road. It's not meant for construction traffic. I understand construction gets done, but it's just a driveway. So we want to make sure we can still use it during any construction, and that after construction's done, it's still a usable driveway for us.
So you don't have an issue with actually what he's doing, you just want to make sure that your access and the maintenance of the road is maintained?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Pretty simple.
Thank you.
You're in the driveway to the left? Is that
Yes.
right? So there's one house between you or two houses?
So there's our house, and then there's a neighbor's house, and then there's this property under
Okay.
discussion. There's three houses altogether.
3 total, okay.
Right.
Couldn't remember if it was 3 or 4, thank you.
Anything else?
That's
I was,
pretty simple.
I was down there today, and I can't even, is that all gravel, all the?
It's asphalt for
the-
part of the way, and
Part
then
of the way, and then it's
part of it's
gravel, the
gravel.
rest. So the part that's on your property, is that asphalt?
That's all asphalt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where it passes in front of the two, the houses.
Yeah,
up the
and
hill.
like part of it, all three of us share, and part of it,
Right.
the two properties share, and then
Yeah.
it moves to.
Because I thought it turned to gravel at some point, and I couldn't remember
Mm-hmm.
now, just sitting there. Doesn't it turn to gravel? It's asphalt all the way? Nope. No?
So do you equally share the maintenance on the street?
Well, it's never come up. It's a good driveway right now.
Thank goodness.
We've lived there since 2015, and so 10 years, and it's never come up. It's been a good driveway. We went back in the recorder's office records, and we found a driveway agreement from when the original house was built, I guess, in 2006. And it's kind of an interesting document because it was signed by two parties, but says that the driveway will be shared by all three parties, and that maintenance should be shared by the three parties unless one party causes damage, and then that party's responsible for it. But it was kind of a weird document. We have it if you want to have a look at it, or it's on the CAGIS stuff, but it's it makes sense. It's just kind of weird that
That's something you have to work.
outside the purview of this, I get that.
But it would be more of an as-needed basis as opposed to everybody pays $500 a year to maintain it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, you don't have any particular issue with either the accessory structure being in front of the principal home or the accessory structure being larger than the principal home that's currently there? You don't care either way on those issues?
Not particularly. It is already screened by vegetation. It sounds like they're going to put in some more vegetation.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't have any issue with there being a barn on the property. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would anyone else like to speak?
Yes. Yeah, my name's Ken Wonderheit. I'm at 2023, right there on the house at the, on the left there. The idea of putting a place that big is kind of like overwhelming as far as having it next door. And the one thing that I would like to see is to make sure that it's screened with something evergreen, so we don't have to look at it because we're not used to it and we don't want to get used to it.
Understandable.
And that the setback be, if possible, another 10 or 15 feet. And I guess I have a question: do you have an alternative plan, or is this the only one that you've come up
You
with?
need to address us.
It's the most cost effective.
Sir.
Okay.
Don't
I'm
address
sorry.
the members of the
I'm
audience,
sorry.
just address us and we'll get back.
Okay. It is kind of out of character, but I guess, I guess I don't really have too much of a problem with it other than the color of the building because it's going to be 22 something high, 22 feet, 22 and a half feet high, and the screening of it. And the reason for the setback, a further setback, I mean, it'd be ideal if it was in back of a structure, okay? You know, the residence. And it's probably an ideal place to put the thing. I used to do building. But it just seems, I don't know, it seems out of character for the place somewhat. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you understand what I'm saying?
I understand, we understand what you're saying.
There's a lot of flat area. I don't see why that's any different as far as the floodplain issues. What is the issue with the floodplain? For the house and the place being switched?
I can't answer that question because I don't have the elevations and the location.
Okay,
That's up to Hamilton County.
okay.
You said you'd like to see a setback another 10 or 15 feet or something like that. Is that a,
Well, our houses now, at present, are septic. It would be nice to have a place that was still open as far as an easement, a possible easement to the sewer socket. And it would take probably another 10 or 15 feet setback to go and allow that to happen. And that's part of our thought, because it expires in about 15 years.
What expires? Do you have an easement for a potential
Or
sewer across the property?
The fact that we can still have septic systems
Oh,
on that
okay.
area.
Is that true?
I don't know about the terms, but yes, there's sewer in the vicinity, so it's very logical that they can only be on septic for a little bit.
And it's the only logical place to go through, too.
The sewer runs through the creek through there.
So if he's still there at the end of this, what happens to the property? Does he have to vacate the property because he can't use the septic tank?
I don't know what the terms are with public health.
It's probably set at the county level.
Pardon?
It's probably set at the county level. The county is the one who regulates septic
Yeah.
systems. The township does not do that.
Right. The Hamilton County Public Health regulates septic systems, and there is a sewer in the vicinity. It runs through the creek, which is right through here. But I'm not sure how that, I'm sorry, I'm not into this decision here before the board, so I think that, I don't know if there's an easement in place through there, that vicinity. So
there
if
isn't
there's
an
not an
easement right
easement
now.
in place, I don't know how that weighs in. But isn't peaceful.
Anyway, that's one of our concerns about the location. And I know that, this is zoning, it's not the health department or anything like that, but, that's one of the concerns.
Okay, thank you.
Does that easement show on these drawings?
yeah.
Let's see how it works.
Oh, there's no easement, the sewer is here.
Yeah, okay, but there's no easement.
There's no easement on
a manhole there, right? Appears to be a manhole and a manhole.
Excuse me, you're talking about the corner of the property right there in the vicinity of where the proposed structure is going to be, right? Near
I
the
would say
creek,
just
The confluence
west.
of the creeks.
Yes,
Okay.
correct. Near the confluence of the
Mhm.
creeks. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the target. I mean, when we were talking about an easement with former owner.
Is there there a manhole out there, do we know?
There's a manhole there, there's a socket, it's 21 feet deep.
And it's got a
For what-
socket?
It does, yes. I'm not sure if it's tappable, because it wasn't proposed. There was a proposal that it be tapped a distance back, but that's the closest shot right there.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, Jeff Westerkamp, 7281 Clough Pike. I live on the property directly across the creek on the west side. 8 years ago, we purchased the property. It was the perfect setting, beautiful, serene. The horses were there. And that was one of the things that made us just jump on the house. Of course, the horses are gone now, but it's still beautiful to look across and just see the open greenery and whatnot. Now, you want to put this structure, this large structure, directly across the creek from our home, where we'll be looking at it, and I know you're planting evergreens and all, but that's all shaded there. So if you're planting evergreens, they're going to be stunted on the west side growing because of the shade. And, I guess my only, first of all, yeah, I don't want it to happen, but if you do allow it, and you might be opening a can of worms because, you let one person do it, but if you do allow it, that the evergreens on the west side have to be of substantial size. If you're planting like green giant arborvitaes or, Norway spruce, they would have to be of substantial size because I don't want to look at it. I don't want to see it. I already know what's there, from November until early April, be looking at it. And that, and we bought this home thinking, yeah, we're staying here because of this whole surroundings. And now to see a large structure possibly going in, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about that plan anymore. But again, I don't want to be that neighbor, but I really don't want to look at this structure, which will probably be 50 yards from my home. Where right now there's nothing but fields and, gravel parking lot. But anyway, I guess that's about all I have. I have no issues with that newer house being built. I know that'll be closer to us as well, but, I'm just afraid with a garage and cars and toys and tools and blah, 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 there comes noise. I already listened to a quad runner running around, which is fine. I had one when I growing up, but I know noise comes with a garage, and something this size with all the toys and stuff, just ratchets and air tools going, I don't know. I just don't. I like my quiet evenings in the fire pit area, and but I just wanted to say my piece, and that's it. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would anyone else like to speak in opposition? You can step up to the podium, sir. Thank you.
I was there when the house was built, the other house, the one in 2006, and we had a lot of course, a lot of construction traffic going through there, concrete trucks. Nothing, I don't think that was 32 feet long. I mean, not the size of an RV, for instance, that would, I can't see it coming down the road there. It would be if it was towed, it would be almost impossible, it seems like, to get around there. And if it was a 32-foot-long RV itself, it'd be pretty hard to go and maneuver the thing around there because the road's just not that big. and the curves are pretty tight. And right now, the right-of-way, the easement that goes through there, the road easement, the driveway easement, is 12 feet wide. It's enough to get, a truck through. It has, all this other traffic that we had to put up with for like 6 or 8 months. And I really can't see that there'd be that it would accommodate anything that big, for one thing. The other thing is that there's a 36 by 48 barn there right now behind the house that exists. I take it. Isn't that true, according to the? I'm not sure what the size is exactly, but I think that's what the size is. Was that right, the horse barn?
That's right.
On the
It looks
original
to me there was
description,
an outbuilding there. I don't know the dimensions.
that's from the original description, I believe, right?
There is
36
a
by
barn
40.
back there, I don't know what it's used for or anything.
Well, they're usable. They're practically, they're newer. So there hasn't been anything that has, been done to them to, tear them down or anything like that. So these things are available for storage, temporary storage. I appreciate the owner's dilemma. I'm not as well as he does, of course, but, I appreciate it. I understand it. But there's storage there already. It seems like this whole thing, it seems like the house and the building should be done together to go and give us an idea of what's going to be there or what the options are. It seems like taking these two things separately without the plan for the house already being submitted is, I don't understand why, it almost has to be that way, right? The house has to be, at least have a plot in coordination with what's coming up, what's being asked for as a variance, right? So that we can see what's going on. And that's, I guess I would request of the owner that he give us an idea of what that house looks like before, and how it coordinates with this other piece of property before we can really reach a decision about this sort of thing, whether we want to see it happen or not. Anyway,
Thank you.
You're the neighbor right next to it. Are there any horses on that property now?
no,
And no livestock of any kind?
no, there's a, yeah, they didn't.
Okay.
The former owners had chickens, I think. That was it. And then the owners before that had horses.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to speak against? Would you like the opportunity to
Yeah, can I respond to some of the
go ahead and
concerns?
step up to the podium, please?
Try to do this in order. As far as maintenance to the driveway, anything that gets disrupted, I am certainly A-okay with fixing. That's not a problem, that's not an argument. Even taking it a step further, there's trees and all this greenery around that I do want to trim back, and I'm happy to continue to take care of that as far as making sure there's a clear pathway with the trees that are currently there, because they do grow every year. Yes, I do plan on having an RV, so that's the last thing I want to do is have any of the trees scrape up the RV. What I'm potentially going to buy is roughly $150,000. I will take care of that, $150,000. So yeah, no issue there. The horse comment, I do have intent on putting some horses into the barn that is currently there. I don't know if there's anything I need to do to make that happen as far as Anderson Township goes, but it's there, so I would feel that that shouldn't be an issue. But I have some good friends that their daughter is real big into horses. She has committed that if I got horses, that she'll take care of them, blah, 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 blah. She's actually going to some really high-end school for horses. So, so there's the intent there. What other concerns was there? The greenery, the blocking it. Trust me, I am probably more private than anybody in this room. I don't like drawing attention to myself. So even doing this is making me feel uncomfortable that everybody's knowing my business. But yes, I will put greenery around everything. Trust me, that's gonna happen. I think that was it. I don't know, was there any other concerns there that I should respond to? I can't think of any.
Is there some reason you can't use the barn to store things?
It's not climate control. And with the idea that horses will be there, you know.
No horses there now, but the reason you can't store things in there for a little bit until the house is built.
It's not climate control, it's not airtight. Bats get in there, bat poop gets everywhere. So there's, you know, I don't want bat poop all over my $150,000 RV, which I don't think that would even fit in the barn, to be honest with you. It's stables, it's not an open area. So there's not much. I have kept a trailer in there over the years since I've owned it, and that takes up pretty much, and this is a 14-foot trailer that I just used to haul lawnmowers and this and that. So
Is it the one that was parked out there in the gravel area
that
today?
one. So you throw that in there, into that barn, and that takes up majority of the open space that is there. I certainly wouldn't put a classic car in there.
Is there some reason, I heard the explanation that the house you'd like to build would block the existing driveway. Does that affect the feasibility of using the barn at all? You're not gonna be able to get a truck or a trailer back to the barn?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it'll block that in any way. There is a bit of a setback from the creek to where I could build. You know, you have the creek, then you have the sewer, and off the top of my head, I apologize, I don't know what that offset is, but it's enough to get back to the barn if I need to.
Here's one of the things I'm struggling with. Like, it seems like you're gonna cut off the driveway anyway. Is there a reason you couldn't, and I understand that you wanna keep your tenant in there as long as you can and so on, but is there a reason you couldn't build the barn where the house is gonna be? It seems like you got enough room, 50 feet wide, to block the driveway. And then build the house farther up where the barn is supposed to be, and then you wouldn't need a variance at all.
So build this 50 by 100 where the house is that what you're asking
Well,
me?
where the house is or somewhere between the house
So
is
that-
and where it's proposed
I
to
would
be right
like,
now.
I have this idea in my head for my dream home that I worked very hard to get to this point. And I bought this property with this idea, and I've moved everything around quite a few times. The flooding is one of the bigger concerns here, so everything I'm building is at the higher end of the grade there. But to answer your question, where that house currently is and once it's torn down, I would like to have a big open field there. I do charity. I have charity parties, so to speak, currently. And, you know, I just think that's a great idea to be able to pitch a tent, you know, and have whatever we need to do to raise money. But it's a good area, it presents itself for a nice open field. And if it does flood, guess what? Everything there is temporary.
Was there any reason why, I'm just curious, the thing that's scratching my head is the sewer issue for the other people if the county comes in and says, sorry about your luck.
I still think that there is adequate room between the creek and where this new structure would go, to have some sort of easement there to allot that.
So you're trying to place this building directly on the old riding arena
Correct.
for stability, is my guess? 'Cause
Yes.
it's pretty much a foundation there, you're just gonna
Yeah.
throw on top of
The
it.
slab there, yeah. It's the most cost-effective spot on the property to build this. So I work hard for my money. I like to save it where I can. And for the most part, with turning wrenches and this and that, this is gonna be a garage. It's gonna be 80% storage. You know, again, back with having a house up in Michigan, it's on a lake. There's going to be a couple boats, pontoon boats, speedboat, wave runners. This will be the main storage for the winter time. So up in Michigan where I go, you know, up there is really July, August, September, is the 3 months. That's prime time up there. So here in Cincinnati, you know, in the springtime and in the fall, so before and after those months, I could use those boats on the Ohio River if I wish. So my plan is, you know, in the wintertime they get stored here. Springtime I'll use them here. Once I go up north for a few months, I'll use them there. Then I come back to Cincinnati for the fall and I can use the boats here. This truly is a garage for storage of vehicles and trailers and RVs, and that is it. You know, this property also is large. I have, you know, a zero turn. I would like to buy a larger tractor, so cutting the grass doesn't take as long. There's also a private culvert on this property that I have to maintain, and right now I'm literally by hand, you know, unclogging it. So getting some sort of whatever you call it with a bucket, you know, a small, what do you call those? Kubota, little Kubota, to, you know, to help maintain that, I think would help. So it's all for this property. You know, I don't have a need really to buy something like that, other than I just don't want all the rainwater from 5 Mile to flood my yard. So that is a piece of equipment that I do plan to buy to maintain the property. It's a lot of space. And what we're talking about here, as far as exceeding the square footage of the house, to put this in layman's terms that everybody would understand, is roughly a 3-car garage. That's it. That's not a whole lot of space. And once you put an RV and all this equipment in there, it adds up, right? So.
You're saying a 50 by 100 building is a 3-car garage?
No. What's exceeding is about 700 square feet, right?
Right.
From the current house, which is
Okay.
roughly a 3-car garage.
Okay.
So that's what, you know, that's how much space we're roughly looking at for larger than a home. And yes, I do plan on building a new home. That's my forever. That's gonna be, you know, I don't want a ton of room, but like the hallways are gonna be larger, you know, so you can have wheelchairs. Everything's gonna be wheelchair friendly. I do plan on dying here. I don't know what else to say. I really would rather not have, I'd rather have in-home healthcare as I get older versus being somewhere that I'm not familiar with. Some of my uncles are doing this, and I'm kind of following suit, where some of my cousins are in healthcare, and they're kind of helping with designing some of this stuff for my other uncles. And I just think this is a great idea. So hallways are gonna be much larger than the typical hallway. So the square footage is gonna be there, is what I'm kind of trying to get at here. I want the wheelchair to be able to wheel right into the shower. And I'm very particular. I mean, I have OCD like you wouldn't believe. This property is gonna be in mint condition, and the privacy, I just can't say enough about it. I have no arguments there. It's gonna be, I'll throw $100,000 in planting new trees if I have to. Because that's what I want, and clearly that's what they want.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Chair, I move that we close the public hearing on case 21.
Second.
Mr. Nye?
Aye.
Mr. Shekels?
Aye.
Mr. Halpin?
Aye.
Mr. Sine?
Aye.
Mr. Lawrence?
Aye.
We've got a lot of interesting cases, it seems like. What can you do? I'm still stirring here.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that I'm struggling with is I hear him saying that the residence he intends to build needs to be situated a certain way, and that's why they can't be switched. Without a plan, I'm struggling to visualize that. And I'm just kind of wondering if we don't have enough information to make the determination where this is really necessary, if he needs the variance, or not. And not that I think he's trying to mislead us or anything, but, you know, we have to exercise our judgment based on the evidence presented, and there's some suggestions about what that evidence would be, but we don't really have it. And I'm reluctant to grant a variance without that information. Because it's not really obvious to me that they couldn't be switched. Again, I know he has a vision. I understand and appreciate that. If we had the complete design package together, I might be more comfortable with it. I think that's kind of the most significant concern I have right now, but I'd like to hear what you guys think.
Well, I have that concern, and then it's my own personal paranoia for the neighbors regarding the sewer. Finding out that in a future, what is it, do you remember what they said?
15 years.
15 years, they could conceivably be, county could come in and say, you have to put a sewer in, and where's that sewer gonna go? Based on the elevations, there's only one place for it, that's that manhole down there, near the 675, near that corner of the barn. And they could be in a very big bind because of that. Or they could sell it to someone who would not do their diligence, and here we go, so they would have the same problem. Without an easement across there for whoever neighbor it is to get to that sanitary sewer.
I don't know that that means a lot to me here. I mean, we don't have real good evidence that would interfere with governmental services, which is one of the things we're supposed to consider. I understand there's a sewer there. It appears to be close to the sewer. It does not appear to interfere with it necessarily. I don't
No, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if 15 years from now, the county comes in and tells this resident
Yeah.
they have to put a sewer in, and who's ever occupying this property at that time says you can't come across my property to do it, then that house is effectively worth.
I mean, that's where we are right now. They don't
Yeah.
have an easement right now.
Yeah.
And, you know, so
But-
where the building goes doesn't affect that.
And that would be true for both houses.
Right, but when are we, is this the time to address that or not?
I mean, we can't give an easement across the other guy's
No,
property.
we can't.
Yeah.
We can't do that.
Well, I guess even if we could, it's not obvious to me that the proposed location of the building interferes with that.
No, the building doesn't interfere with it. I can get there from there. I spent 10 years with a mechanical contractor. I could get there.
So what's the, I don't follow. I guess.
I just, it's bothering me. It's gnawing at me because, of the potential for a cantankerous situation. Brought by,
We can only do so much here.
That could be the case with or without the building, though.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm saying. Yeah.
Right. And I agree with you. I would like to have seen some kind, it doesn't have to be a full set of building plans or even, just some kind of footprint with elevation on there showing what the intended structure is.
That's what I wanted to pull out a little bit more too with Mr. Nye. I kind of follow along your line of reasoning there. And with a lot of these, we'll have, here are the plans, you start within 1 year, complete within 2 years. That kind of gives us a good guideline to go. Is that kind of where you're going with that?
Yeah, I mean, we need, zoning looks at the whole lot, right, and the structures in relation to each other. What we've got here is an idea about what the rest of the lot would be used for and the other structures would be, but the only structures we've got right now are these smaller ones way in the back. And so as the lot exists today, it's a pretty substantial variance. And if he's saying, well, I'm going to build this in this location, on this timeline, we can better judge how substantial the variance is. Again, I hear him saying what he would like to do. We don't, as far as I know, we don't really know if that's feasible either. Maybe he's got a full set of drawings, he just didn't bring them. I don't know. And so I'm reluctant to say, he says it's all good. And again, I have no reason to think he's trying to deceive us or anything like that. But we got to know so we can make the judgment. Now, which is not necessarily to say that if he brings in the plans and it shows the house, where he says it is, that I'm not necessarily sure I would still grant it. I think it does appear to be, or at least potentially could affect the essential character of the neighborhood, which is obviously one of the larger factors we always consider. But I think, without seeing a more fully developed, comprehensive site plan, I just don't know that I can really say how substantial it is or how significantly it will affect the essential character of the neighborhood, or whether his predicament could be feasibly obviated through some method other than a variance. And that's 3 of our 7 factors right there, and ones that we tend to weight more heavily. They're not elements, they're factors, we have to weigh them.
Right.
And so,
But if he had a contoured survey plat with this and a potential house on it, then you could make that call.
yeah, right. So we've seen the one drawing in the application that says, prospective location here, and I appreciate that, and, I can get a sense of what that would be, but I just feel like I need a little more information, I think. And so, I guess where I'm going on this is, I would, based on the information here today, I don't think I'd grant the variance, and I would say if the applicant wants to come back next month or in 2 months with more comprehensive plan, maybe we table this until then, if they want to do that, and let's hear all the evidence. I think that might be a more prudent way to approach this.
And I would concur with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Did we want to open it up again?
Can we open the, you okay, Steve? You got anything to say?
Where's
I
Steve?
got, I'm sorry, I keep calling you Steve. Go back. Yeah.
Don't know if you were asking about me, but I'm fine.
So, Mr. Cafaro, do you, I think, so what I would propose, and I think, we'll maybe take a quick vote and let you come back up and tell us whatever you want to tell us about this, but what I'm suggesting is that we just don't quite have enough information. If you give us a little more, we can more fully consider this. So think on that for 30 seconds. And meanwhile, I move to reopen the public hearing in this case to put that question to Mr. Cafaro.
Second.
Mr. Nye?
Aye.
Mr. Shekels?
Aye.
Mr. Halpin?
Aye.
Mr. Sion?
Aye.
Mr. Lawrence?
Aye.
I have a question. So, sounds like you guys have a concern on the size of this structure. So, to put this in perspective, if I were to match the square footage of the current house, that means I would be able to build a 50 by 83. 83, 84, 86, something like that. Is that, so if I were to apply for just that, so I'm basically matching the square footage, and I'm trying to put this structure there, does that change anything for you?
It's a fair question, I think, but I think my answer is the same without seeing a full plan. So that is one of the variances, the size, right? The other one is the accessory structure in the front. I think we need to see them both. We need to.
So let's say that I don't plan, I'm just trying to play, where you guys are at here, without any guarantees that a new house is gonna get built. So let's talk about that for a second. So if I decide to not tear the current house down and I just decide to move in there, which I can tell you is not gonna happen, now I still wanna put up an auxiliary building. So 50 by 86, I think, is the number that would match the square footage to fall in line with the current zoning, other than it being in the front yard. Does that help at all?
So I'm going to interject here a minute. So the board has an application before them. You can approve this application, you can continue it, or you can deny it. If you wish to continue it, you can request certain information. And I think if that's where the board wants to go, that's what you need to do. And we can't really have a negotiation about how you feel one way or the other, because we need to open up the whole public hearing to take, testimony in favor, testimony against. So if you want to go that route, you need to ask, specific questions and ask for additional specific information, not necessarily negotiate and design the site.
I completely agree.
I guess my question was, in the event that that were the case, that one detail of this variance here would be kind of obsolete, right? Wouldn't matter, because I'm still within the right of doing that. Because it doesn't exceed the square footage of the house.
You would need one variance instead of two then.
Yeah.
That's
right,
correct.
Right.
Yeah.
And with it being in the front yard, and that's the other one, correct?
Correct.
And with the way the current property is laid out, it's impossible to put this structure anywhere behind that house. The room's just not there with the current setup.
So my question to you is, if we say we'd like to continue this for a month or until you're ready, because we want to see a specific site plan that shows the proposed new residence in relation to this and all that information, are you willing to provide that? Because if the answer is no, then we'll just,
Absolutely.
okay, we could.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I can have that to you tomorrow.
I'm not gonna be here tomorrow.
I would like, this is one thing that I would like for you to consider. I would like to get this structure built before winter. And right now, I can do this. I can get this structure built before winter. If we put this off any longer, I cannot, and then I have to do it in the springtime. This whole project gets pushed. I would like to start this process so I can get out of my current house. I can't, they yell at me it's HOA stuff, right? It's just, I can't have a 15-passenger van on my driveway. It's just, I like to follow the rules, so here I am trying to do that.
I hear you. It sounds like you could get the additional information to us, and so I appreciate that. I don't have any more questions for Mr. Cafaro. Does anyone here?
No.
Okay. So I move that we reclose the public hearing on case 21, I think.
2025.
Yeah.
Second motion.
Mr. Nye.
Aye.
Mr. Shekels.
Aye.
Mr. Halpin.
Aye.
Mr. Sine.
Aye.
Mr. Lawrence.
Aye.
So the options are, we continue this, and, the only other option you could possibly do is approve this conditionally, and I don't know how you'd even write those conditions, that a plat showing the house be submitted ahead of the next meeting for review at the next meeting before final approval, and that's just the best. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that, but that's just so convoluted, it doesn't work.
Yeah, I don't think we could probably
It's either
craft that.
push it or deny it.
Well, or pass it if there's a sense to pass it. I don't think I would probably grant it, but, and I think maybe that's the sense of the board. I appreciate his desire to get started quickly, and I want to be sensitive to that, but I just don't feel like I have enough information to determine here, right now, that we should grant this variance. And so, but I'm also not necessarily convinced that if we had that information, I would deny it either. So I think, unless the applicant wanted us to, vote it up or down right now, which I don't think, it sounds like he doesn't, then I think what we gotta do is move to continue this to the next meeting and ask for a revised site plan that shows the location and dimensions of the full site as proposed to be redeveloped. That means the new principal structure, the new accessory structure, demolition of the existing home, any other, I guess we probably don't need the demolition of the existing, well, we do, because you can't have two houses on a property, but, so we need that too. Otherwise, you need a third variance.
The third variance
Yeah,
for
right,
that.
yeah, right.
Well, we've got the
we
outbuilding dimensions and approximate location, so all the rise plan would have to show is the elevation, and a couple of key dimensions. And on the house, I wouldn't expect him to come back with a complete set of plans ready to go to build.
No, he doesn't need building plans, but I mean, I think what we need to see to judge whether this variance should be granted, these variances should be granted, is where that house is gonna go, how big it's gonna be, right? And then, if we grant at that point, we're gonna grant it with the condition that it be in substantial conformance with those
Right,
plans.
right.
Now, you know, what the house looks like at that point, I don't care, but it's gotta fit in that plan, and if it doesn't, then he's gonna have to come back for a
Yeah.
modification.
You know, we're not looking for
So
brick.
the more information he can get us, the better.
Right.
But you're right. I mean, it's got to be, all right, so I move with respect to case 2021 that we move to continue this hearing to allow the applicant to provide a revised site plan that shows the additional information about the proposed principal structure and the demolition of the existing
Yeah.
home on the property.
And that's just a note. The demolition is just a note to be demolished at the completion of.
I guess that's
Yeah.
probably right. I
Right.
don't know.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Nye?
Aye.
Mr. Shekels?
Aye.
Mr. Halpin?
Aye.
Mr. Sine?
Aye.
Mr. Lawrence?
Aye.
We'll get you a memo and discuss next steps tomorrow.
I'm going to have to recuse myself from the next case. I may or may testify. I'm an adjoining property owner.
No kidding.
Please read the staff summary for 22-2025.
All right, this is case 22-2025 Board of Zoning Appeals. The applicant is Martin Feltman, who is the owner of Anderson Township Family Pet Center, and he's representing Anderson Land Holdings LLC, who is the property owner. The location is at 6666 Clough Pike, and the zoning there's E Retail. The request is a variance for an 8-foot tall privacy fence located in the rear yard in the side of the building, where 6 feet tall is the maximum permitted per Article 5.289 of the zoning resolution. And we can, the history of this site, well, let me back up. So when we were reviewing this application, we did notice that there was an expansion of the outdoor area for the, where the dogs have their outdoor runs. There is a requirement in our zoning resolution that the outdoor area be a minimum of 200 feet from the residential property line, and the residential property line, which we'll see from the Cages map, is toward the rear. We have had discussions with the applicant about this, and we'll let the applicant speak to whether that proposed expansion is 200 feet or if that would need to be modified, because that is, or it was not a variance that is being considered tonight. So the only variance that's being considered tonight is the height of the privacy fence, so 8 feet tall versus what is required, which is 6 feet tall. So the building was constructed in 1953. There are multiple zoning certificates on this property. The previous owner of the pet center made multiple improvements over the years. With the last zoning certificate was issued in 2012, and that was for the dog daycare and the retail business. And as part of that zoning certificate back in 2012, there was a proposal to have the outdoor area where it currently is, but then an addition behind the outdoor run, but that was never actually constructed. So only a portion of that zoning certificate back in 2012. And currently, the outdoor run was approved real close to 200. It was noted 200 feet on the zoning certificate. So this is the site in question outlined in red, this Clough Pike here. To the north, we have the American Legion. To the south, we have Anderson Township Pub. And the Anderson Township Pub and the Pet Center have a shared parking area. This is the aerial. So this area here is the fence in question. It's currently 6 feet tall. It is proposed to be replaced with an 8-foot tall fence. This area is not used for anything. It's just a grassy area. There is a gravel kind of vehicular area from one property to the other. It's kind of hard to see from the aerial, but this is part of the existing building. The addition was proposed back in this area back in 2012, but was never constructed. So this is the outside area for the dogs, and then the fence would be along the perimeter of that site. The topography map, fairly flat. There is a sharp increase in topography to the east of this site, and then across the street is Clough Creek. So these are the outside photos. This is looking to the south, and then we're going to just kind of circle around the building. This is the side of the building opposite the ATP, and then this is the rear of the building. As you can see, it's a 6-foot tall fence currently and would be increased to 8 feet. These are just photos again of that outside area. This is the building behind the American Legion. And then the pub, ATP parking lot, and outside area to the south. And this is the view from Clough Pike. This was the proposal that was submitted by their contractor, just showing the area to be outlined or replaced. And then on this site plan, this was submitted by the applicant. You could see the proposed green here, which is a slight increase in outside area. If this increase is closer than 200 feet, that would also need a variance, but that is not being considered tonight. So that would be a question for the applicant, how to address this area right through here. So staff is of the opinion that the variance could be substantial. The existing fence has been there for quite some time. It was actually there in 2012, I believe. The proposed 8-foot tall would be very visible from the properties to the north and to the south, not necessarily to the roadway on Clough Pike and not necessarily to the residences toward the south because of the grade change. But it is a deviation from the maximum of 6 feet, which is permitted in the township. The essential character of the neighborhood may not be altered. Again, it would privacy fence now, or increasing it by 2 feet. The owner did request an 8-foot tall fence for reasons of containing the dogs, saying that some of the dogs can jump over the 6-foot tall fence. And also a taller fence, 8-foot tall versus 6-foot tall, could potentially help, enclose the noise or keep the noise down from the dogs. So those are some of the reasons the applicant is requesting the 8-foot tall fence. And staff is of the opinion that because of that, the spirit and intention of the zoning resolution may be met with an additional 2 feet to help keep the noise down from this type of use, from the residential properties and from the two businesses north and south. So I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
We'll now take testimony from the persons, actually the appellant. Please approach, state your name and address.
Hi, I'm Mark Feldman. I'm one of the owners of the Pet Center. It's nice, a long time for me to write notes after that first request. But so I'm Martin Feldman. I live on Ravens Run here in Anderson, and we purchased the Pet Center in 2024 and have been active at renovating it. We love the property. We bought it for the business because it's a great business and they have a great local customer base, and we thought we could make it better, and we have done that. with a lot of investment inside the building, some infrastructure, HVAC, things like that. The fence, as you might have seen in some of those pictures, is dilapidated, and we're in a constant state of repair. I think every one of our members is pretty good at, or employees is good at repairing small fence issues as they go. We were just going to repair the fence as its current structure, but the thought was internally, a couple of reasons, is that if we go a little bit higher of a fence, there's a benefit there. We not only have some dogs that are pretty big, but we also service not only Hamilton County Sheriff K-9 units, but a lot of municipality police units all over Cincinnati and northern Kentucky. And oftentimes they bring their dogs in with them, and sometimes they, shop for dog food and training kits and everything like that. So it would be nice to have that ability to contain those, because those are the primary. But there are other dogs in our thing that we're nearing that point. So we thought if we're going to improve the fence now and make it 6 foot, it would be better to make it 8 foot. Beyond that, we're trying to improve it so it's a little bit more sound containment. Just like the gentleman that spoke, he's private and want to control noise. We're making an effort to do that and contain the what's going on out there with the activities and everything else. And 2 feet will be a significant reduction, we feel, in the noise. So we didn't think it would be impede anybody. There's not a view there, so it would contain the dogs so they bark less because they'll see less from the outside. That's the other thing with the fence that we're doing. It's not just the plies together. We overlapped it, so we're doing a sturdier, hardier, and more noise-resistant fence. And why not make it even better by bringing it up 2 feet? So that was the big reason there. And I think that we've resolved it with the back of it. Not only does it save us a little money to having expanded that further distance, but I think we're going to keep that back, which I think we call it the east side, east-facing thing. We're going to keep that the same area it is, so that variance. I said we might do that later on, but that would be a part of a bigger expansion or whatever. But I don't think we need to address that right now.
You're proposing to keep the fence where it is?
The only thing that we would do is if you look on that side will go back. The other one, we are going to expand it a little bit. We wanted to have a little turf area there for the dogs to have. But that's close, that's on the ATP side, if you will.
No variance required for that.
We can include those. I mean, it's all part of the 8-foot tall fence. There's currently the 6-foot tall. It would come out further to the south.
No variance required to move it. Is that correct?
Correct.
Do you get a lot of dogs escaping over the top?
No, we've had some big dogs that, the biggest thing is we have some big dogs that can reach up, and the less customers, less people looking in, and the less dogs looking out would be a better thing. And really the biggest thing is the noise too. I think it'll help contain the noise a little bit more.
Do you get complaints for noise?
I haven't gotten any complaints. We've owned it for, since early 2024. I haven't gotten any complaints from anyone about the noise about the dogs or anything like that. We our hours of when we're doing it, are pretty normal. Most dogs are in by six in the boarding queues or whatever, or released out to daycare or whatever. So, yeah. So I've never received a complaint about barking from anybody. Any questions?
What's the fence gonna look like?
It's
Similar to the one you have, or?
no, as I said, it's going to be an overlapping. Eads is the provider or the contractor that's going to be doing it. But as I said before, they're vertical, and it's going to be overlapping, so there'll be no gaps even over time. That's what happened, I think, in the current fence now, is they put them butting up to each other, and with moisture and drying up, they kind of opened up so you can see, and the dogs can see, and so they're more reactive to the surroundings. So I think there'll be less barking and there'll be less noise that will carry over it as well. And we do, they have some sun shades and things like that we can do with it as well in that area, and that might help a little bit with the noises, too.
Does the 75% rule apply to that for being open? Like on residential fences?
Yeah, only in the front and the side yard areas.
And we have a pet adoption thing coming up in a couple weeks, so we wanted to start as soon as possible on the new fence. We're going to bring those dogs in and have them, and it'd be best to showcase the new fence for that whole thing too. So.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Is there anyone that wishes to speak in favor?
Paul Shekels, 6894 Old Chapel Drive, on the adjoining property to the east, that hill up there. I have no objection.
Have you been sworn?
Well, I wasn't, that's why I was. Oh, go ahead, swear me.
The whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
All right, yes. Or I could say, I do.
Thank you.
I have no objection to the height at this specific location, and if the owner would like to come back and expand that 5-6 feet to the east, I would tell you right now, I would not object to it.
Thank you.
I move that we close the public hearing on case 22.
Second.
Mr. Nye?
Aye.
Ms. Barlow?
Aye.
Mr. Halpin?
Aye.
Mr. Sion?
Aye.
Mr. Lawrence?
Aye.
We don't normally grant 8-foot fences. I'm not even sure if we've ever done it that I can think of. I think we had that one over on like Immaculate Lane where there's the multi-level deck and the pool in the back, and they had 6 feet solid fence in the place where they was only supposed to have 4 foot, and we let them do 6 feet, and then above that we made them do like a lattice work kind of thing. But that was a residential area. And this has got ATP on one side, it's got their own backyard on the other side, it's got the Legion on the north side. I think that makes a big difference. If this were residences nearby, or even to the back, the residence there is way up the hill, as Mr. Shekels testified. He may not have testified, but we can all see, that's what it is. So there's really no effect on any residences. And, if you're sitting in the back of ATP having a sandwich and a drink, I don't think it affects the character of the neighborhood at all, whether that's an 8 or a 6-foot fence over there. Not even a little bit is my judgment on it. So, for that reason in particular, I would grant the variance.
I think the 8-foot fence actually makes it safer.
Doesn't make it less safe.
More difficult for a dog to jump over.
I've seen dogs that can climb all that, so, yeah.
So with that, granting the variance, we've got the plans there too. I noticed that, they mentioned the plans were adjusted, where the green line is, it's adjusting back. We can take account of that somehow in our memo.
Yeah, well, I think we can probably ask him to submit a modified site plan to staff satisfaction that shows the modification on the east side or something, probably. Does anyone think we shouldn't grant the variance?
I'll second your motion.
Mr. Nye?
Aye.
Ms. Barlow?
Aye.
Mr. Halpin?
Aye.
Mr. Sion?
Aye.
Mr. Lawrence?
Aye.
We'll be in touch. I'll send you an email. We'll be in touch.
Thanks so much.
Yep.
Was this part of your,
It's
packet?
the one you denied, so we have to journal it at this point. That was the 2 houses on the one property.
yeah.
That's done.
I know. To do all that he was doing, yeah.
He kind of talked about it too a couple of times, like, I do this.
Yeah.
How old was that?
What do you do?
It's probably family. It's probably, can't
I'm definitely gonna Google that later.
That's true.
Oh, here it is, right here. Look at all the forts right in front. Does everyone have 16?
Yes.
Or-
It's 6 acres, yeah.
The people who built that house 20 years ago, he's gonna tear down, moved out of that house and moved in next to me, like right next to me. And then, they don't live there anymore, but there's the nicest people. They had horses over there. You know, I wonder what they think of their house they built less than 20 years ago is gonna be torn down.
Horses might be coming back.
Might be coming back, yeah. That was, they moved onto my street, then they moved out to Claremont County because they didn't have horses on my street. They got sick of going to the barn. And they decided that was too far out, and they moved back again. Now they're off of 32 somewhere. I never really thought about it. Yeah. Like you almost wonder, this guy's build a bridge to a club. You don't have to worry about that aspect of your neighbors there. Build a bridge over the creek. I guess it would. I didn't think about that aspect of it while I was looking at it. I looked a lot later.
It's a safety issue, though.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's the governmental services.
There it is.
Do you need to come back up?
No, you have to be secretary tonight. I'm gonna leave early.
Steven, are you waiting on us, or are you revising something over?
I'm revising the resolution.
Okay, all right.
And then, Ms. Barlow, you will be voting for the resolution that was adopted.
While he's doing that too, in your packet, there was a resolution for, all right, case 16. Just wanted to make sure you all saw that.
Do you want us to vote on that right now?
As soon as he gets done with that, I just wanted to make sure you all saw it. This had been reviewed by our
Gary
law
reviewed it?
director, or not our law director, but our attorney.
Yeah, you do. No, just come right up here.
You stay there.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, I know, if they want to make modifications.
So this one was reviewed by Gary Powell.
I have two. These are the same thing, right?
Yeah, they must have just stuck together.
Duplicate.
Yeah.
I think one might be single-sided for, and one might be double. Or they just stuck together.
So just, I don't need both of them.
Say again?
Put in the dues. Is that a legal term?
Never fails. I go to a meeting, I get 6 voicemails. Ridiculous. Paul, that's not the first time you've got out, down off this thing and testified.
Yeah, well, it was the Native Roots was the other, that backs up in my.
I don't think it's happened to any of the other people up here. It's always you.
He owns half of Anderson Township.
So you live above all of this?
Yeah, I got, it's total of about 7.5 acres there. And, built the house, the original house on the hill about 74, 75. It's like your typical 3-bedroom ranch. And then, with a full basement, then about 80, I decided I was gonna stay there and double the size of it. With a full basement.
Very good.
So you got permits and everything?
I'm never gonna leave it. I can
Yes.
walk out my back door and nobody can see me, literally, you know, no matter how I'm dressed, you know. So why am I gonna go to somebody's condo?
Uh-huh.
Step out Chris Cuomo style.
Okay, I think, which one are you ready for? Do you want to go ahead and vote on 16 while we have that out?
Yeah, let's vote on 16.
Okay.
I don't have any, nobody has any changes here? This is approved by Gary. Mr. Chairman, with respect to case 16, I move that we approve and journalize our decision.
Second.
Yes.
You come to the microphone.
Mr. Nye,
Aye.
Mr. Shekels,
Aye.
Mr. Halpin, Mr. Side,
Aye.
Mr. Lawrence.
Aye.
The other one is, I forgot the number again, 22.
It got there.
It's a very short meeting.
That's just another thing that
You jinxed it.
I got it. Just a lot of conversation about that one place. That might be the case.
Yeah?
I just thought we'd be home by 6:30.
One, we have to change, you have to say the variance is not substantial.
The variance is variance.
Strike the second and third sentences. That's the second, that's the third and fourth, hold on.
Starting at the existing fence.
I don't know, just,
Is it not?
what
Is it
on
the
earth
second
was
and third?
that?
So that
Yeah, just delete everything after substantial, I think. We don't need to over-explain it. Does anyone disagree with that?
No, I think you're right.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, take it out.
It's definitely visible. Take that sentence out too.
So what would you like for your reasoning that's not substantial?
I don't know. It's a fence in the back of a
Commercial
kennel,
property.
yeah.
Adjacent to other commercial properties. No way. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Take out everything between the current fence and however. I take out however also. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, with respect to case 22, I move that we approve and journalize our decision.
Second the motion.
Mr. Nye?
Aye.
Ms. Barlow?
Aye.
Mr. Halpin?
Aye.
Mr. Sion?
Aye.
Mr. Lawrence?
Aye.
And we don't need to journalize anything for the continuance, right?
Nope.
Okay. Move to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I found,
I can print them off real quick.
Steve.